Claire, and I'm here to answer this question. Okay, so first off, let me tell you that I don't have an answer for you. Sorry. I have a lot of ideas as to what I want or what I would like education to be, which I think is what you were asking. Like, I don't have anything concrete in my mind, though, that I would for sure definitely want my schooling to be like. I just have a lot of ideas, so I'm just going to share a couple of my ideas with you. I have a couple of really small, just simple little ideas, and then I have a couple of really interesting ideas that I think might really actually work. Starting off with some of like the smaller ideas that I have, I thought maybe shorter days, shorter hours in the day, like starting school a little bit later. I think it's completely ridiculous that you have to wake up at freaking 6:30 in the morning and go to school and be expected to know exactly what you're talking about and be awake and actually want to be there. I oftentimes have rehearsals and performances that go late into the night, and it's very hard for me to get up early, as I'm sure it is for a lot of people. I feel like extra sleep is very beneficial when it comes to being awake and being alert and ready to learn. Also, along those same lines, I was thinking more flexible scheduling, like kind of more like a college schedule. And that would be really helpful for me because it would be more flexible, so I could fit in more things like auditions during the day and stuff like that. Another idea that I had was less structure when it comes to sort of like real life stuff, like dress codes or, being able to speak up and being allowed to sort of speak your mind. Another idea I had was different professors to teach the same subject, to give you opposing views, so you can sort of make up your mind as to what you actually believe rather than just having to listen to a teacher tell you what they believe and telling you that that's right. I think everyone should always have an opinion on everything. I don't think you should ever be told exactly what to think, which is what I feel like a lot of teachers are doing nowadays in the public school system. Especially at my school, because it's a really big school, so there's a lot of kids that they have to teach, and oftentimes individual thoughts and opinions are overlooked. Another idea that I had, which is really not of utmost importance at all, but I think it would just make the school day a lot more interesting, and it would produce a lot more creativity out of students, out of me at least. It would be a beautifully structured building to work in. If you had to sit in one building all day, which I'm not sure I would want to do, I would much rather have it be a creative space. I have a link actually that I can show you that I found online. It was actually posted on the EdZ Omega website.
Deaf chords, deaf hands, sling set can't meet the demands. Deaf whores, best friends, straight boys, straight men, cowboys, Indians.
Okay, so here are my main points though. Finally. I was really interested in what Shauna Edson had to say about her personal unschooling experiences, about how rather than being homeschooled, like working at home, it would be working from home, which means that you would oftentimes go outside of your house and experience learning in a lot of different various places. I really like this idea. She went to a lot of museums to help her learn. It's very like hands-on sort of learning style. A lot of museums, you could go to the library, you can go all these different places. I think that would help with keeping me excited about learning because it's more hands-on. It's not like just one simple thing all day long. It's not a bored, because I oftentimes get really bored in school, and so I think this would help reduce the boredom. She was talking about how unschooling, rather than having a teacher, you'd have an adult supervisor, but they would mostly just be there to supervise and to guide you, but you would basically be the one to figure out what you would want to learn on your own. Find different ways of learning different things that interest you rather than being forced to learn about all the things that you should learn about in regular school. And I'll insert a link to what Shauna Edson had to say about her unschooling and about how museums played a really big role in that. Okay, and then my last idea was kind of a random thing. It's those personality placement tests that you sometimes have to take. I had the idea that if I had to stay in a full-time school, like a regular public school in a big building with lots of different students, I would like for each student at the very beginning of the year to have to take one of those personality placement tests, like career placement tests. And then depending on what you got in the, I guess you'd call it a score, what your score was, like what your personality fit into, you would be fit into a certain group in the school. Like in one wing of the school, there would be a group of teachers who taught in a specific way, and then there'd be another wing in the school where there'd be a group of teachers that taught in a very different sort of way, all depending on what you got on your placement test and how you learn. It would also be nice to have all these different groupings of people in the same building, because then if you took this placement test and you thought, okay, well, maybe I'll try this out, but then it didn't end up working for you, like it was a more structured sort of way of learning, and you think you'd rather like a more unstructured way of learning, you could always go off and explore these other areas. So it would kind of almost be like a small community, I guess. I think that's sort of an interesting idea. Those are the ideas that I have come up with so far. I'm always coming up with new ideas every day as we go along in this process with EdZ Omega, and I'm learning more about all these different ways of getting an education. Right now, it's still very early in the process, so I only know a few different things. I've only learned about a few different ways of doing things. So I'm sure I'll have more ideas in the future for you. So I want you to stay tuned, because I'm sure I will come back and let you know once I find these different things. And thank you for listening to my answer. I hope this answered some of your questions. I hope you liked my ideas, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.